ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome back everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam reading from Canto 6 about Ajamil. We are reading Ajamil Charit. We had 2 sessions and we got to know that how King Parikshit, who is very close to his death, is concerned that how people of this material world can get rid of their sinful karmas and go back home, back to Godhead. And he's inquiring about this question to Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami, first he said about Karma Yoga, what is the path of how you can get rid of your sinful karma through Karma Yoga. And then he says about Jnana Yoga. And still Parikshit Maharaj does not agree with him. He is not very satisfied. So Sukadeva Goswami has now given the third and the ultimate way to get rid of our sinful karma permanently. That is Bhakti Yoga. The problem with rest two, like Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, is like we might get rid of our sinful karma, but we won't get rid of our tendency to commit sinful activities, right? So even though we get rid of our karma, but through our tendency to commit sin again, we will again redeem it. That's why through Bhakti Yoga, it is a way for all of us to completely uproot, the desire to commit any kind of sin, right? So we read till that much in our last reading. Now we will begin from text 1.16. Na tatha hi aghavan rajan puyeta tapadibhi yatha krishnarpita pranas tat purusa nisevaya. My dear king, if a sinful person engages in the service of a bona fide devotee of the Lord and thus learns how to dedicate his life unto the lotus feet of Krishna, he can be completely purified. One cannot be purified merely by undergoing austerity, penance, brahmacharya, and the other methods of atonement I have previously described. So previously there was this verse tapasa brahmacharyena samena cha damena cha. In that verse, there Sukadeva Goswami says that you have to maintain these all things if you want to if you want to get that jnana, right? And Sridhar Swami in his commentary, he writes about the 8 limbs of brahmacharya, the 8 kinds of brahmacharya. And we discussed back then that how it is practically impossible for us to adhere to those expectations of brahmacharya, right? Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Tatpurusa refers to a preacher of Krishna consciousness such as the spiritual master. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has said, Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistaro Paiche Keva. Without serving a bona fide spiritual master and an ideal Vaishnava who can be delivered from the clutches of Maya. So, we can be delivered from the clutches of Maya. We can get rid of our sinful activities and go back home, back to Godhead. The very first step is to get the knowledge, right? To get the transcendental knowledge. Then only we will be able to differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. And that knowledge cannot be acquired by reading books or by going to classes, going to a university. This is not a material knowledge that can be acquired from a source. Rather, that knowledge is manifested inside us. We in our Guru Puja, in Guru Vandana, we sing Divya Gyana Hriday Prakashita. Right? That Divya Gyan, the transcendental knowledge, is manifested in our heart by spiritual master. That's why there is a very important role of a spiritual master in everyone's life. This idea is also expressed in many other places. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Mahatsevam dwaram ahurvi mukte. If one desires liberation from the clutches of Maya, one must associate with a pure devotee Mahatma. A Mahatma is one who engages 24 hours daily in loving service of the Lord. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mahatma nastu mam partha daivim prakritim asrita bhajanti ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. The definition of who is a Mahatma. O son of Pritha. That's why another name of Arjun is Partha. Right? Those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Thus, the symptom of a Mahatma is that he has no engagement other than service to Krishna. One must render service to a Vaishnava in order to get freed from sinful reactions, revive one's original Krishna consciousness, and be trained in how to love Krishna. This is the result of Mahatma Seva. Of course, if one engages in the service of a pure devotee, the reactions of one's sinful life are vanquished automatically. Devotional service is necessary not to drive away an insignificant stock of sins, but to awaken our dormant love for Krishna. As fog is vanquished at the time of glimpse of sunlight, this example has been given previously as well. One's sinful reaction are automatically vanquished as soon as one begins serving a pure devotee. No separate endeavor is required. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. Right. The word Krishna Arpita Prana refers to a devotee who dedicates his life to serving Krishna, not to being saved from the path of hellish life. A devotee is Narayana Parayana or Vasudeva Parayana, which means that the path of Vasudeva or the devotional service is his life and soul. Narayana Para Sarve na Kutacha Kutaschana Bibhyati. Bhagavatam 6.17.28. Such a devotee is not afraid of going anywhere. There is a path toward liberation in the higher planetary systems and a path toward the hellish planets. But a Narayana Para devotee is unafraid wherever he is sent. He simply wants to remember Krishna wherever he may be. Such a devotee is unconcerned with hell and heaven. He is simply attached to the rendering service to Krishna. When a devotee is put into hellish conditions, he accepts them as Krishna's mercy. Tatte nukampanam nukampam susamikshama susamikshamanah. Srimad Bhagavatam. He does not protest Oh, I am such a great devotee of Krishna. Why have we been put into misery? Instead, he thinks this is Krishna's mercy. Such an attitude is possible for a devotee who engages in the service of Krishna's representative. This is a secret of success. Many times we develop this complaining attitude. We complain, oh, this did not happen, that did not happen, I am not comfortable, I feel very terrible, this is not happening, that is not happening. But if we really want to become a true devotee of Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna, we should take everything, happiness and bliss, good fortune and bad, good days and bad, everything as a mercy of Krishna. Then only we will be able to tackle it in the proper way. Text 1.17. Sadhrichino hi ayam loke पन्थाक्षेमो कुतो वया सुशीला साधवो यत्र नारायण परायण. The path followed by pure devotees who are well behaved and fully endowed with the best qualifications is certainly the most auspicious path in this material world. It is free from fear, it is authorized by the Shastras. This is very important. I would read it again. The path followed by pure devotees who are well behaved and fully endowed with the best qualifications is certainly the most auspicious path in this material world. It is free from fear and it is authorized by the Shastras. Purport: one should not think that the person who takes to bhakti is one who cannot perform the ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, or is not sufficiently educated to speculate on spiritual subjects. Mayavadis generally allege that the bhakti path is for women and illiterates. This is groundless accusation. The bhakti path is followed by the most learned scholars such as the Goswamis, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Ramanujacharya. These are the actual followers of bhakti path. Regardless of whether or not one is educated or aristocratic, one must follow in their footsteps. Mahajano yena gataha sapantha. One must follow the path of the Mahajanas. The Mahajanas are those who have taken to the path of devotional service. Sushila Sadhavo Yatra Narayana Parayana. For these great personalities are the perfect persons. As great as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, यस्यास्ति भक्तिर्भगवती अकिंचना सर्वैर्गुणैस्तत्र समासते सुरा. One who has unflinching devotion, very very powerful word, unflinching. Sometimes markat vairagya, my father uses this word very often. He says that people nowadays have a lot of markat vairagya. Sometimes they will say, no, I want to do this, I want to do that. They will leave everything. They will start going to Mangal Arati, they will start chanting 32 rounds probably, but that does not last for more than 5 days or 7 days. And again, they get back to their original nature, that is, to just run behind, eat, sleep, mate, and defend. Ahar, Nidra, Bhay, Maithun. Right? So, our devotion should be unflinching, not momentary. To personality of Godhead has the unflinching devotion to the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of demigods. The less intelligent, however, misunderstand the bhakti path and therefore allege that it is for one who cannot execute ritualistic ceremonies or speculate, as confirmed here by the word sadhrichina. Bhakti is the path that is appropriate, not the paths of Karmakanda or Jnanakanda. Mayavadis may be Sushila Sadhava, well behaved and saintly persons, but there is nevertheless some doubt about whether they are actually making progress, for they have not accepted the path of bhakti. On the other hand, those who follow the path of the acharyas are Sushila and Sadhava, but furthermore, their path is Akuto Bhaya, which means free from fear. One should fearlessly follow the 12 Mahajanas and their line of disciplic succession and thus be liberated from the clutches of Maya. This is the way to get rid of Maya. Prayaschitani chirnani नारायण परान्मुखम न निष्पुनन्ति राजेन्द्र सुरकुंभम इवापगा. Translation: My dear king, as a pot containing liquor cannot be purified even if washed in the water for many water of many rivers, devotees cannot be purified by processes of atonement even if they perform them very well. So the example here given by Sukadeva Goswami, he says that the pot or the patra, the pot we use to drink alcohol, cannot be used for anything else, because it has completely lost its purity. You cannot, no matter whatever you do, you cannot get rid of the impurities. Therefore, people previously in old days, they used to use a earthen pot, or the shell of coconut or something like that to drink alcohol, so that they can just dispose it after the usage. But now we see that people make so many different use of used alcohol bottles. They make some paintings, or they put something, in India I remember they used to sell honey or something in used alcohol bottles, which should not be done, because once alcohol is there in a place, that is completely impure, that should be thrown away. Purport by Srila Prabhupada: to take advantage of the methods of atonement, one should be at least somewhat devoted. Otherwise, there is no chance of one's being purified. It is clear from this verse that even those who take advantage of karmakanda and gyanakanda but are not at least slightly devoted cannot be purified simply by following these other paths. The word prayaschitani is plural in number to indicate both karmakanda and gyanakanda. Narottam Das Thakur therefore says karmakanda gyanakanda keval visero bhando. Thus, Narottam Das Thakur compares the path of karmakanda and gyanakanda to the pots of poison. Liquor and poison are in the same category. Very important, especially for Gen Z, right? Liquor and poison are in the same category. According to the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, a person who has heard a good deal about the path of devotional service, but who is not attached to it, who is not in who is not Krishna conscious, is like a pot of liquor. Such a person cannot be purified without at least a slight touch of devotional service. That's why devotional service is very important, and the nature of this devotional service should be unalloyed. I don't have any other expectations. I don't need anything in return. All I want is to serve you. That should be our um, meditation, our thought process while rendering service. Sakranmana Krishna Padarvindayor Niveshitam Tadgunaragiyeriha Nateyamam Pasa Bhratascha Tadbhatan Swapne api pasyanti hi chirna niskrita. Very, very beautiful verse this is. Although not having fully realized Krishna, persons who have even once surrendered completely unto his lotus feet and who have become attracted to his name, form, qualities, and pastimes are completely freed from all sinful reactions, for they have thus accepted the true method of atonement. Even in dreams, such surrendered souls do not see Yamaraj or his order carriers, who are equipped with ropes to bind the sinful. See that this path of bhakti is so easy. People, like, usually even we we often say that it's difficult. Waking up early in the morning is difficult. Chanting 16 rounds is difficult. But Sukadeva Goswami is confirming that simply if you chant the holy name just once with complete surrender and all your heart, that will make sure that you don't even see Yamaraj and his carriers in your dreams also, right? which is a very big thing. This is a very big thing. That's a sense of security we can get, that you know holy name is our only way of rescue, that can only protect us. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 18.66, Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam saranam braja ham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. The same principle is described here. Sakran mana Krishna pada aravindayo. If by studying Bhagavad Gita one decides to surrender to Krishna, he is immediately freed from all sinful reactions. It is also significant that Sukadeva Goswami, having several times repeated the words Vasudeva Parayana and Narayana Parayana, finally says Krishna Padaravindayo. Thus, he indicates that Krishna is the origin of both Narayana and Vasudeva. Even though Narayana and Vasudeva are not different from Krishna, simply by surrendering to Krishna, one fully surrenders to all his expansions such as Narayana, Vasudeva, and Govinda. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mataha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam prota sutre manigana iva. I guess I said the correct words. There is no truth superior to me. There are many names and forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but Krishna is the supreme form. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Therefore, Krishna recommends to neophyte devotees that one should surrender unto him only Mam Ekam. Because neophyte devotees cannot understand what the forms of Narayan, Vasudeva, and Govinda are, Krishna directly says Mam Ekam. Herein, this is also supported by the word Krishna Padara Vindayo. Narayana does not speak personally, but Krishna or Vasudeva does, as in Bhagavad Gita, for example. Therefore, to follow the direction of Bhagavad Gita means to surrender unto Krishna, and to surrender this in this way is the highest perfection of Bhakti Yoga. Parikshit Maharaj had inquired from Sukadeva Goswami how one can be saved from falling into the various conditions of hellish life. In this verse, Sukadeva Goswami answers that a soul who has surrendered to Krishna certainly cannot go to Naraka, hellish existence. To say nothing of going there, even in his dreams, he does not see Yamaraja as or his order carriers who are able to take one there. In other words, if one wants to save himself from falling into Naraka, hellish life, he should fully surrender to Krishna. The word Sakrit is significant because it indicates that if one sincerely surrenders to Krishna, once he is saved from, he's saved even if by chance he falls down by committing sinful activities. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Apiche tu suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak साधुरेव स मंतव्य सम्यक व्यवसितो hi sa. Even one commits the most abominable actions if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. If one never for a moment forgets Krishna, he is safe, even if by chance he falls down by committing sinful acts. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, नेहाभिक्रमना सोस्ति प्रत्यावायो न विद्यते स्वल्पम अपि यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, or a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Elsewhere in the Gita 640, the Lord says, Nahi kalyanakrit kaschid durgatim tata gacchati. One who performs auspicious activity is never overcome by evil. The highest kalyana activity is to surrender to Krishna. That is the only path by which to save oneself from falling down into hellish life. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati has confirmed this as Kaivalyam Narakayate Tridasa Purakasa Purakasa Puspayate. Chaitanya Chandramrita 5. The sinful reactions of one who has surrendered unto Krishna are compared to a snake with the poison fangs removed. Prutkhata Damstrayate. Such a snake is no longer to be feared. Of course, one should not commit sinful activities on the strength of having surrendered to Krishna. However, even if one has surrendered to Krishna happens to do something sinful because of this former habit, such sinful reactions no longer have to have a destructive effect. Therefore, one should adhere to the lotus feet of Krishna very tightly and serve him under the direction of the spiritual master. Thus, in all conditions, one will be akuto bhaya, free from fear. So, Srila Prabhupada Maharaj is explaining in his purport, and Sukadeva Goswami is telling this to Parikshit Maharaj that by surrendering to Krishna, rendering devotional service, and following the instructions of a spiritual master is the only way for all of us to permanently get rid of our sinful activities and our tendency to commit sinful activities. And he says that if we simply perform little bit of devotional service, little devotion towards Krishna, we won't just get rid of all our sinful activities, but get we won't even see Yamaraj and his carriers in our wildest dreams. That he won't even come to our dreams, forget about reality. Right. So this is such a secured path, such a proven path, that is to chant the holy name, follow the instructions of spiritual master, and serve him, serve your spiritual master. And so this was a small Bhagavatam reading today. We will again come back very soon and try to move ahead with our reading. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.